It's the Sports Talk Now podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Sports Talk Now podcast. I am your host, Jackie McKenna, and I am joined, as always, by the Pundit and my pseudo-roommate of the last few weeks or so.
Sumo roommate. That's another sport.
That's funny.
It's wrestling.
That's funny.
In Asia.
Hey, yeah. The Pundit Noah Schindler. Noah, how are you?
I am excellent. We had a rager last night. Oh my God. The place was packed.
Wasn't there. Don't know what happened, but...
Right. There is a fire hazard in my house, and everybody that I invited confirmed that they'd be here. So unfortunately, you couldn't come to this one. But I believe you had a night of your own.
Yeah, you said that I couldn't be there, and so I took it upon...
For safety reasons.
Yeah, I'd say it ended up putting me in more danger, if that's possible.
Would you care to elaborate?
Well, I did what I did last time. I headed down to hang out at the Bengals fan club
with your friends.
With my they're friends. I'd say they're friends. They got a little upset that I hadn't brought back a new pair of socks for them. That I had, because last time they took my socks. And I didn't have any this time because I was wearing flip flops, but so they took the flip flops, which they weren't super excited about, but especially because it's winter. But I don't have a ton of stuff over at your place, so
there's just not much space.
Yeah, no, there's not at all. And so I just stayed there for as long as I could, and then I wandered the streets. I was gonna come back,
which I said you could when the party was over
at 3 a.m.
I'm not going to put you out
at 3 a.m.,
which is when a party ends.
Yeah, but like at a certain point, it's more dangerous for me to try and make the trek from downtown in the middle of the night than to just stay at the Bengals fan house.
And that's what you did, and you're fine.
I'm fine. I
just don't know why you're making it a big deal.
Do I sound like I'm making it a big deal?
Yeah, you do.
I'm not trying to make it a big deal. I'm just explaining to you that you think you were.
I am the good Samaritan, letting you stay in my house for the past 2 weeks when you are out on your own, and this is the way you treat me. I come on your podcast. This is your podcast. I am doing you a favor.
This podcast was your idea. You came to me. I had the equipment, and you said, "Hey, like I really want to get my sports expertise out. Do you mind just recording this and asking me a few questions?" I thought it'd be a fun idea at the time, and
you thought it would be a fun idea. It's your podcast.
At the time,
you were the host of this podcast.
Am I the host? I don't feel like the host.
Technically you are.
Oh, technically
you are, and I'm the expert, and you're here as the buffer between the fans who know nothing about sports and the person who knows everything about sports.
Well, sometimes I just feel like a warm body for you to bounce questions off of.
Well, you're freezing cold right now.
And now I feel like a cold, dead body because I've been living with no heat and no blankets. I can only take cold showers. I'm not allowed to do my own laundry. Frankly, it's nicer out on the streets than it is in your apartment for me, to be frank.
Then go out there. I didn't ask you to come here. I let you stay here.
I mean...
Just the gall.
To be fair, I could have gone home. My family said, come home. And you were very adamant that you're like, all right, I'll get new podcasting equipment. I'll invest in the we'll record it and we'll record at my place. And I didn't want to put you out. I said, no, really, you don't have to. But you offered for me to stay with you. And I thought for the better of the show, I should take you up on that offer. Had I known it would have been what it has been, this...
Well, I'm sorry, it's not perfect. I'm sorry my house isn't the perfect, amazing wonderland of a living experience.
Well,
for
really,
you.
I can't tell if it's an amazing wonderland or not because I'm not being given the basic amenities of food, shelter, love.
I don't know what you want from me.
I think you wanted to talk about hockey today.
Yeah, I think we should do the hockey episode.
Okay.
So let's get the
Start the clock.
Start the clock.
Puck drop.
Mm-hmm.
It happened.
Yeah, we're in the doggy days of hockey.
Now this is what you've described to me as the most exciting time to be a sports fan. Like we're almost halfway through the NFL season, so we're deep in the throes of that. Hockey puck drop has just happened. And at the time when that happens, basketball is it's breathing down your neck. So
right around the corner.
So that and the World Series, we're in it's everything.
Everything is happening right now. It's a lot to take in, and it's hard. It's exciting for sports fans, but it's also really difficult because once the puck drops, there are hockey games. There are the World Series games. There's football, and then there's basketball around the corner. So you're looking forward to it, but you're also like, wait, I'm not ready for this yet.
Which games am I going to watch? Which games am I going to watch?
Yeah, so you have to do a lot of DVRing, which I've done. I haven't watched any of the hockey season yet because of that.
Well, I think that's good because you can be in the position of perhaps fans who haven't started watching yet or didn't even know puck drop had happened. So let's go ahead and use this as an NHL primer, maybe just the basics.
Yeah, what to expect for the next season.
So first off, let's go over the rules of hockey, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Let me give you my very basic understanding, and you can correct me as we go.
Yes,
and as you love to do that.
Yeah. I'll barge in when I need to, which should be in 5 to 6 seconds.
There's a puck. There are players, and they want to score the puck in a net.
Which net? The opposing team's net. The opposing team's net.
And it's
sort of like football in that way.
The net. Can you explain to me the difference between a net
or basketball?
Well, that's why. Is it a basketball net?
No.
Okay.
No, it's a goal. It's a hockey goal where there is a net. So there's a goalie about the
I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Soccer.
Well, it's people often compare it to soccer. I see very little similarities.
Really?
Very little similarity. For one, hockey is played on ice. Hockey has sticks.
Yep.
A puck. And they wear a lot of clothing. Soccer, none of that. None of that. Very different sport. But there is a goal with a net, and the goalie, you try to get the biggest goalie. You want a goalie to fit about the size of the goal. If you're lucky, you'll find a guy bigger than the goal.
Yeah.
In which case, good luck to the other team trying to score in that goal.
And has there ever been a goalie who's roughly bigger than the goal? And
several.
Really?
Several. Yeah. I mean, I can think of a lot off the top of my head, but like too many to name.
Now in hockey, are there other positions like there are in other sports or beyond goalie?
No, there's goalie and there's everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're just skating around the rink trying to pass it to your friends and get that puck in the goal.
Now, there's something called the penalty box, which is, and what's interesting, and something that I've picked up in my conversations with you and from this podcast, is a common thread across all these sports is penalties.
There are rules. There are rules in sports. There are things you can and cannot do in sports.
And rules and penalties kind of go together. Like ketchup and mustard, if you will.
Correct. You either like ketchup, you either like mustard.
Yeah, and that's why it's a yellow flag.
Right, in football.
Or a red card.
Or a red card.
In soccer.
Yeah, I think I've heard. Yeah, exactly. Or a red challenge flag.
In football as
well. In football as well.
Yep.
Hockey, no colors, just white. Just white on that ice. And if there's a penalty, the ref will yell.
And the penalty box is
that's where you go when you commit the penalty.
And the ref yells at you in the box?
No. The ref just yells when it happens, so the play stops.
Okay, could you give me an example? Like say So I'm a hockey player, and say I decide to, what would be a rule break? Say I tie my opponent's skates laces together, and he trips, and he sees me do that.
Stop! That's what they would do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All
then-
right.
and
That was
the-
scary.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean, it's a brutal game, hockey. And
yeah.
that's what people, when you go to games and you're not expecting it, it's a little jarring.
Yeah.
Because there are players that we call goons.
Goons.
Goons. Not
Now,
the
that's not-
Goonies. I know you're a big film buff, and I'm aware of that one.
Eh.
That's not it. Don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Goons are signed by the team just to hurt the
Also
other
a
players.
film starring Sean William Scott.
All right. So the goons, they target other players, and they try to hurt them within the realm of
whoa,
the game.
Whoa.
It's a brutal game.
And it's allowed?
Sometimes. So you got to get by, like the tying the laces together. You can't do that. That's a penalty.
okay.
You can't trip anybody.
Mm.
You can't hit them with a stick, but
What about verbally?
that's allowed.
Hmm.
That's allowed.
Hmm.
Encouraged.
Now, I on Netflix this past week watched a film about the New Orleans Saints coach. What's his name? You know the guy. Piercing blue eyes.
Yeah. I know.
Kevin James played him in the movie, and it was all about how he got in trouble for paying his players to target other
See.
players and hurt them.
Sure.
And-
That's a movie. That's a movie.
Got it. So
So-
that sort of thing isn't necessarily frowned upon. That's more of
No.
a fictionalization.
That's a fictionalization.
Got it.
That's sort of a metaphor for what people think sports are. And I think it's really detrimental to the idea of sports.
Oh, just the idea that it's not necessarily all about brutality and violence.
right.
There's,
It's part of it, sure.
but there's more of an intellectual, artistic element as well.
Definitely.
Is that what you preach as a Pee Wee football coach?
Yes, and I do preach the brutality of it.
Improv?
Sorry?
Improv?
Improv.
You said yes and.
Correct. Is this a movie too?
I mean, don't think twice.
I won't. I'm going to keep going. I preach brutality because in football, you have to be brutal if you're going to win the game. You got to hit them hard. We go get that ball.
Any predictions for the NHL season?
Man, so many. I have a list. that I left in my room. I don't want to go get it.
I mean, it's right there. We can go.
No. I don't want to interrupt the flow. Okay. So the Vegas, there's a Vegas team now. Las Vegas has a team.
Okay.
They call it the Las Vegas Knights.
Oh,
Not nighttime.
but that would be a Vegas night.
Oh, I had one too many of those.
Have you?
Yeah. So the Las Vegas Knights, first season that they ever played, about 6-7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They almost won. They almost won in their first season.
Oh, a game?
The Stanley Cup.
Oh.
Ooh, the Stanley Cup. We have to get to that. Put a pin in that. So I believe that the Vegas Knights are going to enact their revenge on the NHL and not only win the Stanley Cup, but destroy it.
Okay, so the Stanley Cup is sort of like the Super Bowl for hockey, yes?
Right.
It's like the big award you get at the end,
Mhm.
and it is a cup.
It is a cup.
And why would the Knights want to destroy the cup?
Put it together, my friend. What's their name?
A knight?
What do Knights like to do?
Pillage?
Yeah,
The Holy Grail.
the Holy Grail. They want to steal it. They want to first put it in a museum for a while, and then destroy it.
So no one else can have it.
So no one can else because it was taken from them.
That is...
They should have won that last year, except for this horrible call.
yeah.
Horrible call against.
I remember that.
Yeah.
The call heard round the world.
Oh my God. When all he did, he just pushed him like you're allowed to,
Mm-hmm. And I think...
right in front of the goal, and then you heard stop.
I was going to say, the call was stop.
Yeah.
And they stopped the
Right
game
about
and they
a
called it
score.
right there.
Yeah, and they said no goal. No goal. They took it back. That goal would have won the game.
And I've heard you say this. I agree. You don't pay to go to a game to watch the officials.
No. That's why we boo them. You go to any game, they announce the officials. They're gonna hear some boos.
Yeah, and do you?
And I've heard I've been an official, and I consider myself one of the greats, and many people do. So I didn't hear that many boos, but my colleagues did.
And I'm sure you're torn. Oh, that's the buzzer. All right,
the period is over. They're called periods. The intermissions.
Yeah, no, I know. I used to date a girl. I get it.
Okay.
She
was into hockey?
Yeah. I believe, is it my turn or your turn?
Gosh, I completely forgot. I had a great party last night. I'll go. Oh, sure, I'll jump in. We're talking about hockey. We haven't talked enough about hockey, so let's get it all out. Roller hockey's coming back.
Oh.
It's on ice professionally. We're going to get rid of that ice. It's getting cold. We're going to put it on concrete, and we're going to bring the rollerblades out, roller skates. Then you'll be able to choose if you want rollerblades or skates. There's more variation, more strategy in the game.
You're so right, because it is strange that hockey starts in the fall and we're going into winter. It's like, it's so cold, and you want me to go inside and be where the ice is?
No.
That's a good call.
They want to heat up. They want to warm up.
That's a good call.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, I know more than most. I have been to many conventions. I don't want to give that away. I hope I'm not breaching a contract or anything. Yeah, just look out for it.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Okay. I got a flight to catch, so let me just get this out real quick. I think the Vegas Golden Knights are not going to win the Stanley Cup, and the Cup's not going to get destroyed.
You got a flight? Where are you going?
Yeah, no. Oh, sorry. I thought I mentioned this to you. I thought I sent it to you in an email, but I think I was just talking to a rat or something. It was pretty... Got pretty loopy out there last night walking around. Okay. You know, you start to see things, start to hear things. My family reached out and they've said that they want me to come home. They don't think this is the best situation for me. Not necessarily living with you, although, you know, that hasn't been a walk in the park, but just generally they think, you know, the holidays are coming up. Why don't I just spend this time that I'm trying to get back up on my feet?
So you're just going for Thanksgiving. You'll be back.
No, I'm not coming back till New Year's.
So, okay. The podcast?
Look, you know, as I said, it's not really my podcast. This is more of your thing, and I enjoyed doing it. But right now, I think it's best if we just call this the season finale. Take a brief recess. Recess sports. You play sports at recess. There you go. And come back together to once we're all recharged and feeling more ourselves. So thank you to the Pundit for having me on the show, and thank you for letting me stay here. It hasn't been great, but you know you can't. Sometimes you got to deal with the hand you're dealt, and that's what I've been doing. And thankfully, my family's gonna be taking care of me from now on. So just we'll talk later.
We're gonna 7 episodes isn't a full season of anything, and there are 18 weeks in 19 weeks in football, and there's 82 games in basketball. There's like 200 in baseball. What are we doing? 7 episodes?
It's the Sports Talk Now podcast.